All right, man. Peace. It's Bronzebird here with another video. So, I've been seeing for the last couple of days, the White House press secretary, Jean Pierre, who decided to come on and say how she's against the anti-LGBTQ bills and the one that was blocked in Florida and the one that was blocked in Uganda. And, I found it funny because I was like, a lot of the conservatives that I see on YouTube, they're making their markings around and they're saying like it's a liberal left and, all these different agendas and stuff like that. And, so many people are just looking at it at a surface level about how they're saying that when it comes to the LGBTQ, they're trying to wreck everything and they're trying to do this and they're trying to do that and Jean Pierre and all this other stuff. Now, make no mistake, even if it wasn't Biden that directly put in someone like Jean Pierre to be the White House correspondent, there's always a method to the madness about who he chose or who the higher uppers or the powers that be chose to put in as Biden's cabinet and put in administration. And a lot of people don't even pay attention to this. Now you have that star Mulvaney, whatever his name is, that was the one that I did a video on recently, in which there was this conversation about how he allegedly, quote unquote, he, she, or whatever, about this whole entire thing of girlhood, the days of girlhood. It's been 365 days, and then went on Drew Barrymore's show and how she kneeled before him. And the thing about it is, a lot of people don't recognize this is also the powers of the two genders acting in one, the Baphomet ritual. And I'll expand that probably on another network. I wouldn't do it here on YouTube because I want more of the studying and more of the other stuff of me really digging in the crates so you guys can find that information out on YouTube because YouTube is bugging. But my thing about it is what people need to find out about is the two spirits coming into one. If you're looking at it on a spiritual way, that's why it's always this definition of trying to find more of the transgender women than it is the transgender men. You know what I'm saying? Because it's also about blurring the lines. And if you paid attention to a lot of these different things, which I'm going to be expanding on, it also pays credence to a lot of the olden cultures, such as the Greek culture. But we'll go over that in another time. Otherwise, in this, a lot of people might just think, oh, it's the LGBTQ attacking and they're doing all these different things. At a surface level, that's not the reason why they're doing it. The LGBTQ is a Trojan horse to one of the profound programs that they're putting in place to establish a one world government, or those coming together to be happy together or blur the lines on what was made separate for a reason. So also to denounce things that's within the jurisdiction of the Most High, because that's why they always want to debate against the Bible and say the Bible is bad, this, that, and the third, and life isn't like this. And the Most High never makes any mistakes, right? Never makes any mistakes, I'll tell you that. But what I'm saying is, getting off of the religious aspect, if you look at the spiritual aspect, it's about conforming. So them talking about Uganda and shedding the light on Uganda and saying how Uganda is wrong for what they did, that's the reason why they're doing all that. That's why Jean Pierre decided to put that on the record. Now, to the odds, she may not know why. She's probably speaking from emotion because she's a lesbian. But at the same time, the reason that they make national headlines is because they're trying to shed down any country that may even have a liking or abide by the rules of patriarchy, quote unquote, or letting be men-led, or those believing in the man and woman and no same-sex relations and all those different things. But otherwise than that, it's about conforming. Because if you can conform with how America moves, or how the UK moves, or these different countries that's the Western Hemisphere, that's how you can move forward. Okay. And as much as I see Africa, they're trying to set as a new power, the economic powerhouse, right? And so they're seeing a lot of the technological advances, and even China's getting on it, Russia's getting on it, the British was already on it. So it just continues and continues. And the more countries you can knock down to feed into their program means that they can take over with the resources and everything else that they can put in. So I'm going to share you this article, and I'm going to just give you my thought process on what is it that I think. So peep. Karine Jean-Pierre condemns anti-LGBTQ moves in Florida and Uganda. White House Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre denounced anti-LGBTQ actions in the United States and abroad at Wednesday's press briefing. A reporter asked Jean-Pierre about a rule proposed at the Florida State Board of Education to expand the state's infamous Don't Say Gay or Trans law. The law, enacted last year, forbids instruction in public schools on sexual orientation and gender identity in grade K-3 and vaguely requires it to be age appropriate afterward. The rule would take the ban through 12th grade, as would a bill filed in the Florida legislature. The rule has the backing of Governor Ron DeSantis. It's wrong. It's completely, utterly wrong, Jean-Pierre said. And we've been very crystal clear about that when it comes to the Don't Say Gay bill and other actions that this governor has taken in the state of Florida. But make no mistake, this is part of a disturbing and dangerous trend that we're seeing across the country of legislations that are anti-LGBTQI plus, anti-trans, anti-the community in a way that we have not seen in some time, she continued. And it's not just the LGBTQI plus community. We're talking about students. We're talking about educators. We're talking about just individuals. And so the president has been very clear. This administration has been very clear. We will continue to fight for the dignity of Americans, for the dignity and respect of the community, of opportunity that should be given to the students and families in Florida and across the country. Jean-Pierre also spoke against the Anti-Homosexuality Act passed Tuesday by Uganda's parliament and headed to President Yoweri Museveni for his assent, which appears likely. It would make same-sex relations punishable by death in some instances, an echo of legislation considered in the nation several years ago, and by up to 20 years in prison in other cases. The Biden administration has grave concerns about the act, Jean-Pierre said. This law would jeopardize progress in the fight against HIV/AIDS, deter tourism and investment in Uganda, and damage Uganda's international reputation, she said. The bill is one of the most extreme anti-LGBTQI plus laws in the world. Human rights are universal. No one should be attacked, imprisoned, or killed simply because of who they are or whom they love. Same-sex relations are already illegal in Uganda. A bill providing for the death penalty in certain cases was introduced in 2009, but the maximum punishment was changed to life in prison before Parliament passed it. It was struck down in court in 2014 because of the manner in which it was passed, not because of its content. And so a lot of people got to pay attention to what's the main point of why someone like Jean-Pierre or why the United States is paying attention to Uganda with the whole entire anti-LGBTQI plus things being passed by the parliament. Now, the thing about it is, it doesn't really surprise me, right? If if y'all ever seen up on YouTube how they had the video of the trans man that was having a debate with one of the pastors, it was actually pretty funny. But I can remember even back then, I started paying attention to a lot of the news that's out in Africa. But, the thing about it is, the more that they can get more of the world to concede into what if they want their Western agendas to be, that's the reason why they go so hard. And like I said, it's more than just the LGBTQ coming in the mix. That's just a Trojan horse for whatever else they want to bring to that country, like Uganda, or specifically more of the Western countries in Africa or Africa in general. Like I said, it's the power source. America plays the game just like Russia and China is playing the game, but America is failing because America is not becoming the power economic house that it used to be. In my opinion, I think that America is becoming China's bitch, for a lack of a better term. But the powers that be that comes into it, we see going forward. But, that's just my opinion. Give me your thoughts in the comment section. Make sure you like, share, subscribe. Peace.